All right, we are in the huddle for Week 11 here at Bermudian Springs with senior quarterback, defensive back extraordinaire Ryan Markle, and probably one of the toughest linemen around in Noah Hakes. So, gentlemen, just want to ask you first. We're standing outside your not your weight room, but your film room, I guess you could say, one of the places you're using, getting ready for Schuykill Valley. Is this typical for you guys each week in your rapport? Your repertoire?
Every Monday we're in here, just getting time and watching film, scouting out the next team.
Ryan, how does this week feel any different versus the first 10?
It's a lot more exciting. There's a lot more on the line, so we all have to pay attention more than we usually do.
Now, Ryan, I wanted to ask you a little bit just how your career has kind of developed. I mean, because we saw you as a freshman and sophomore playing a lot. You had that broken collarbone early on. How did going through that, I guess, prepare you for the next few years, and how did you bounce back from that?
Well, after breaking my collarbone sophomore year, last year playing safety, I was a little skittish with hitting and stuff like that, but this year I'd like to think I'm a little tougher, and the coaches like to say that, so it's definitely a lot different on that side of the ball, at least. Yeah,
I think I saw you had a pick against York Catholic a couple weeks ago. Just from your perspective, what's this defense been like this season?
Well, the linemen and linebackers are doing great. I mean, it makes the D-backs' job a lot easier when they can get pressure on the quarterback and make them make dumb decisions.
And Noah, tell me about that pressure, what you guys try to get up front.
Everyone just fire off the ball. I mean, we just rush. If they're passing, we just rush as hard as we can, try to get pressure on that quarterback, just to, like he said, get him to do dumb things, and just stop the run game up front.
Does having some depth and kind of switching things up a little bit with rotation help at all? Because I remember I was talking to Coach DeFoe about this in Week 8 at Catholic, where Silas Hall comes in, plays a little bit both ways. I mean, with you guys rotating a little bit, how much does that really help keep you guys fresh?
It helps a lot because most of us play both sides of the ball, and by that point you get pretty tired. So it's good to have someone to swap in every couple plays.
And speaking of playing both sides of the ball, on the offensive side, you guys run a lot of off balance with the wing tee and stuff. What's it like for you as a lineman? Like, I mean, you got to pull block, you got to do some certain things. I mean, what's it like for you blocking for this offense?
Well, you got to know your plays. If you don't know your plays, you're not going to play. It's important. Just everyone needs to fire off the ball and just get to where they're going as quick as they can, as hard as they can.
And Ryan, a change of, jobs for you this year. Tell me about moving from running back to quarterback. How did that come about?
Well, playing running back last year, me and Britton rotated almost every drive, if not sometimes it was every play we were rotating in some games. And it's a lot more responsibility. Just starting with the snap, if I don't get the snap, then the rest of the play can't come out. So it's a lot different in that way.
And I think that'll do it, guys. Thank you for joining us. Steve will be right back with Coach Jon DeFoe, so look out for that.
And we're back with Eagles coach Jon DeFoe. And, Coach, it's Week 11. I know it's a week you routinely are working, certainly. But, what differs now that, the regular season's done, 10-0, congratulations, but that's behind you now?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta put it in perspective, check off goal one, which is to not only compete but win our league championship. And we were fortunate to do that this year. And everything you do in the regular season is to get the best possible seed you can for the upcoming postseason. But at this point now, it's put your best foot forward on Friday night or collect equipment on Monday. So, we really got to stress the mental preparation, how important it is, because many times you're facing teams that, you don't have much history with or, much knowledge of. So, that's really what we're focusing on is that's great, and we'll talk about that when it's all said and done. But right now it's all our attention's on Schuykill Valley.
And you mentioned that with Schuykill Valley, your upcoming opponent here in the first round. You're the number 2, they're the number 7. We're ironically in front of where you're doing your film for the week. What is the biggest challenge when it is an unknown foe or foe you're really just learning about?
Yeah, I mean, what's unique is in Week 11, very rarely do you come across something you haven't seen at some point in the season. So whether it's defensively or offensively, you've typically seen something similar at some point. We played Schuykill 2 years ago in the playoffs, so we have a little bit of familiarity with them there. They're playing the same system and doing the same things offensively they were doing then. So that helps a little bit to look back. And then every chance we get to get out and see an opponent or potential opponent, we do. So 2 weeks ago, Saturday afternoon, we were down at Schuykill at Wyomissing, and we got a good hands-on look at them there because we thought it was a possibility, and certainly thought there was a possibility at some point we could run into Wyomissing.
Sure. So you get a chance to see him firsthand, as you mentioned. Now, what a season, but, you didn't do any real surprising things, as maybe the thing you and I have joked about for many years now, but it definitely seemed to work. Colton piles up yards. But it's not just him. There's so many people behind it. Matt had an interview with Ryan Markle, a kid who at one time looked to be another one of those running backs who developed into the quarterback spot. What does it take to make this system work so well year after year after year?
Well, I think it's a system we feel like we can plug kids into. And I think the other beauty is it's a system that doesn't rely on just one player making a lot of plays. You don't need just one guy that's going to carry a team. There's 3-4 guys that, from a production standpoint, can make plays. And I think the other thing, offensively, we've thrown the ball real well. The reality is we've been in a lot of games where I just don't think it's appropriate to be throwing the ball, and I think we've always handled those situations appropriately, and because of that, I think our passing numbers are a little tainted, but we still got close to 900 yards out of it. And, we had an outstanding game Friday night with throwing the football, and we know we're going to need that going forward. But we've been blessed. We've had some really good running backs, some kids that can make plays with the ball in their hands. And we believe this is a system that allows 2-3 kids to do just that, and this year certainly not disappointing with 2 guys over 1,000 yards.
And yet, finally, none of this happens without the caliber of line play you've gotten. And I want to extend that to both sides of the ball, though. Certainly the yards you're able to pile up in the offensive line, but you've also had one of the top-rated defenses in this league for several years now. Can you talk a little bit about them?
This has been a special group for us, no doubt. And from a size standpoint, it's the biggest we've been. And then to have the size and the mobility that they have, it's really been an asset for us. And they've done a great job on both sides of the football, and it's a nice luxury. We really feel like in some situations in the past where we just got handled up front because of our lack of size, we feel like this year we can at least neutralize that. So we're really excited. We're real proud of what they've done as a group this year, and it's good for those guys because it's just those type of players don't get a lot of recognition typically, but when you have the offensive numbers that we've had, and then, like you said, the defensive numbers that we had, it certainly started up front on both sides for us.
That's terrific. And heading into district play with Bermudian Springs coach Jon DeFoe, Steve Navaroli here. Join us on the radio from 4 to 6 on Thursdays on 1350 WOYK AM, and also our live chat Thursday evening from 7:30 to 8:30. Follow us on Twitter, GameTimePA_SC, or our GameTimePA Facebook page. Folks, join us for next week. It'll be week 12. Matt and I will be somewhere talking more high school football.